Let's get stuff out of here, is that okay? All right. So it's been a minute since I started. I had to take something out of the oven, and it's the reason that happened. And also, I realized that might be something wrong with my washer or the dryer that I bought, because my clothes smell and have like a metal tinge. I guess I don't know what it is. Damn it! But yeah, that's what's going on in my life. My life is amazing, and I hate this car. So let me get this one. I hate trash cans. I don't know what this is, but I parked my car here. Save the car right there. Doesn't work like that. It's weird. And see if I can save this car as my car. It's gonna be tight. Right into the hole. But what's gonna be our topic today? Yeah, but that's what I realized about my dryer. And oh, I got an idea. I don't know. Though sometimes I don't know. What the fuck? Alright, let's see him. Alright, I'm gonna get this red car because okay. So, I don't know what I'm gonna make for my topic, but I'm gonna do something.
William 2, copy that. We're in the vicinity.
What's gonna be the topic of today? I have to say that like 20 different times to actually get my mind into an actual thing that I'm talking about as far as emotional emotional that's a coffee burp because I got a protein coffee shake whatever thing or whatever. So now my head's going a million miles an hour, and I also had an energy drink. I don't know why I did that, but but sometimes they're cheap. So, as far as what I'm thinking about, and my mind goes really fast because sometimes I can, do things like drink energy drinks and stuff like that. I don't say drink energy drinks, and sometimes people are actually allergic to those things. And relative to the amount of sodium and or caffeine inside of something. Some people are actually allergic to caffeine. It's actually a thing sometimes, and they don't even know it. But so yeah. What's the topic of today? Let's see here. I'm gonna start acting like a human being instead of... Ooh, I don't care about this car anymore. I thought that was gonna follow. So, what people understand sometimes, man, as an emotional state or an emotional norm, sometimes could be, because I had certain epiphanies sometimes when I got older. Yes, I just flew and I almost landed on my feet. That would have been really cool. Ah! I had certain epiphanies when I got older and realized that the certain ways of thinking when I was younger was probably a little bit detrimental to my health. And I'm saying this really fast, so I'm gonna probably slow down as far as my mannerisms go. So I guess what people would call yeah, that's a good topic. Okay, I'm gonna go with it. Emotional states as far as levels of maturity go. Because that can have an effect on what you experience and how you experience it. Because in some ways, older generations are left in the dust as far as knowledge goes. So the simple fact is they weren't introduced to it at a young age, or it's not like they were. It's like they were used to not having a regulatory introduction of technology in their lives early on, so they didn't see, I guess, what was going on as far as changing society went, and sometimes you can see them. I need to turn off the oven, but it's probably not my thing, I guess. Stuff's already out, so it doesn't... Yeah! God dang it! Keep talking and shit. That's also why I'm drinking water. Oh, that's my neck. Oh! And my back. And my arms. Oh. So, what people probably think when they're younger, I guess, is they start to heed to certain calls and certain different things because of their, I guess, their whole. It has a lot to do with what I was talking about, your whole bubble, I guess, about what you believe the world is about, and because not a lot of people have I'd say a positive worldview sometimes. Or they're looking to villainize something in their lives because of the way that they've been villainized or been thought of as what they believe, I guess. Also too, sometimes I'd say people can be less mature when they believe that they've been I don't know, they've been oh dang it. But people can be less mature on some levels as far as reactionary. People can be reactionary because of certain levels of stress in their life, and I don't know, the levels of the amount of things they've been able to endure, I guess, kind of it builds up inside their own system, and sometimes you see the effects sometimes, and they start to act like nothing is like better or nothing is good enough for them. Like, I don't know, I just see so many people sometimes, and their ability to turn this down because you son of a bitch, you're defending yourself. Let's barter. I don't have a car, but you can take the fact that I'm taking your car. Alright, but yeah, sometimes people cannot take some things seriously, I guess, in the same sense that, like, they don't understand that sometimes their actions can be judged upon their actions, and in that same sense they don't they feel reaction, I guess, and I'd say that the real term of actually calling it something would probably be let's see, I'd say when you're trying to get through a certain amount of stress in your life, and when you're trying to also be able to be, I guess, when you're trying to be able to be, I'd say less serious about something, you're trying to allow yourself the I'd say the time to be able to heal from some sort of, I guess, physical frustration or mental frustration, and sometimes people can take up arms to different things, and I just ran into a goddamn but yeah, people can sort of act like they're at their calmest when they're at their angriest, and when that happens, people sort of try to, oh, I need to calm down now. It's like, no, you should have been practicing calming down whenever you were calm, so that when you got angry, you'd be able to deal with this situation. It's like people need to prepare more themselves a little bit more emotionally sometimes. I guess when it comes to maturity, sometimes people don't understand. It's like they can let stuff for so long, and when you let stuff go for so long, you kind of set yourself into a series of emotions that are a series of emotions that can cause yourself to be reactionary. And when you're reactionary, I mean, you pay the consequences, I guess, sometimes, or even not pay the consequences. Maybe someone else pays the consequences, and you feel bad afterwards, or not feel bad afterwards, depending upon your mannerisms or emotional state. Realizing that sometimes people, even though they don't seem or want to feel bad about something they did, or bad about an emotion they took out on someone, yes, that's my favorite song, but I can't listen to it for copyright reasons. But but yeah, that's the reason why I kind of see myself. happened within my own grasp of emotional substrates, or when I was trying to express myself, I let things out. It's like the whole reason why sometimes you feel a certain way is because of you let things to a certain amount, and you don't want to shout, I guess, but in the same sense, you want to tell people that you've had enough of something, I guess, and in that sense, I guess there's enough of the sameness, you know, enough of the sameness of negativity, and maybe you just have enough negativity in your life to be to push yourself to I'd say emotional extremes, and I guess when you see those kind of things like play out, you don't see yourself able to hold yourself back whenever you see and I think like they do this traffic like this on purpose. It's like a whole puzzle thing you have to go through. It's like Frogger or something. When I see people start to yes, awesome! I actually hit one. Yay! But when you start to see yourself push into argumentativeness, or when I start to see myself push into a part where I feel as though I'm losing my temper, and in some cases I do lose my temper way more than what people would actually seem to push in that direction. But in the same sense, I don't find myself completely controlled by my emotions all the time. But I do find that when my emotions come up and I feel a little bit out of whack or something like that, I realize that that's a part of me that I haven't been giving attention to. That's a part of me that I haven't been allowing to be able to control myself, to be able to control the situations that I want, to be able to make the things that I want into the I guess the ways that I want to be able to see in life, or the ways that I want to be able to understand myself. I don't know. So I mean, I don't know that much about it, but I'm trying to, and I'm trying to be able to understand myself a little bit more. And I think that speaks to a level of maturity that you only hit after you hit a certain age, or after you hit a certain experience about life, and you start to get, I guess, a basis of what you think of, and a basis of what you feel as though you should be treated as. And I don't know, like, you should be treated a certain way, and I just died. But I can never make it to the gosh darn military base because I'm all jittery and shit. But yeah, physical and mental maturity speaks to itself as in the level of emotional maturity you get to. And that's the places emotionally where you would see a change in mentality, or a change in oh shit, goddamn it. But when you're out there on your own and you're actually trying to come through something that is like that is like emotionally challenging. I'd say that the more experience you have at a certain piece of emotion, the more you're able to look at something and say either,
What the fuck?
God damn it, and say either I'd say you want to be I'd say you want to be in that personal. I'm not trying to make it complicated, I guess, but the more mature you are as far as age goes, I guess, the more experience you have as far as what your emotional and also other people are way more mature than I am. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying that that I'm exactly mature by any means, but also too, I mean, I wouldn't be talking about this stuff if I was actually that emotionally mature. I'd probably be enjoying the fact that I was emotionally mature, I guess. But in the same sense, I'm kind of figuring out what emotions I'm kind of figuring out what emotions I'm actually I'm actually I guess what my default emotions are sometimes. And sometimes I realize that those emotions can be kind of extreme, but understandably so. I don't try to make those emotions my everything, or try to make those emotions what I really want to be able, like I don't stick with that anger, or stick with that mild mannerism, I guess, or I don't know. I have no idea what I'm talking about, and we're gonna play some more GTA. So awesome. Because I'm not a professional, but I'm still trying to kind of figure things out as far as emotionally as I go. But realizing levels of maturity can also bring, I'd say, they're also realize that even though you're mature, or a level of maturity has been reached, you still sometimes actually need to be able to be in a certain place as far as where you want your career to be, and realize that I just broke. It smells like, what is that? I mix coffee and energy drinks, so that kind of smells like that. But I also ate dirty rice earlier, so there's that. It smells a little bit like beef innards or chicken innards, I guess. I'd say that there are so many ways to be able to look at a certain problem, and whenever you're out there kind of seeing the way your emotions work, and the way your emotions are trying to be for a certain way, and I just died. How the hell? How did he get so accurate? Oh, and yeah, I'm overworking myself a little bit, but I need to do something, and I need to do something quick because yeah, there's that. Also, I need to stretch. But noticing that a level of maturity needs to be reached in order to be able to experience emotions in a proper way. And sometimes people never reach that area in their lives, and it sucks. And I'm at least trying to see it, I guess. And I don't think that I see the world in a liberal, conservative manner, but I sort of see and a hey, why not wait? there's always things that we can say that we want more than what we have, and when we reach a level of maturity to be able to appreciate the things we already do have, we start to realize that the things we have, the more we get, or at least the more we appreciate the things we have. I guess to realize that that there are so many ways that people can control the outcome of certain things when people are immature, and if they don't want to see the world in a certain you have to understand is that the true feelings will come to light, and also too the true maturity will come to light. I'm not saying that the way that they feel about a certain situation is the way that they feel about everything, but there's a certain overview of what they believe or what people believe, not a generalistic way or a generalistic term, but for each individual. You'll start to see what the reason why they get angry, or the reason why they get sad, or the reason why they want to not yell but sometimes they yell, or something like that. But also you'll see the reasons why sometimes their own authority. Like sometimes I am afraid of myself, and I don't fear myself, but in some ways I don't like the way I handle situations sometimes, and I know that I can handle them better, and I don't try to say that I've seen stuff or that I know stuff more than people. It's like, no, that's not a real thing to actually think about. It's more like hey, alright, this is what we're gonna do, because since we got these things in here, and then now we're gonna go on break. How much money can you get? Ah, fucking son of a bitch! I was too greedy. Ah, man. But yeah, the more emotionally mature people get, the more they realize that what they have is more important than what they could get, and that's in the same sense realizing that that even within certain constructs of being able to realize what life or what your life is all about. Is it all about what you can get, or is it all about what you have? Is it all about what you could be doing, or is it about what you are doing at this current moment? And I think that what people understand as far as maturity goes, the more we have, not the more we have, the less we appreciate, but the more we have, I guess, the less we're able to measure the amount of what we appreciate. And I'm not saying that there's a worldview in it or anything like that. I'm just saying that the more we have, the more we have to take care of. Like say for instance, like you have a garden, okay? And you're like, wow, I got so much food and so much stuff. But like, you have to realize that you have to take care of that garden. And if you pay somebody to take care of that garden, then you have to pay someone, then you have to make money. So in order to do that, you have to get a job. So in order to get a job, you have to go do a whole bunch of different stuff and get experience. But in order to get experience, you have to have a job. So you have to start off somewhere. It's like being able to build off of what you have to be able to make something that you want. But also realizing that it takes time to get there, and by the time you get there, you'll realize that you don't appreciate it as much as the thought of it. You don't appreciate the thing as much as you appreciated the idea of having that. So it's like in a relationship, you'll realize that like so many women, or not so many women, but there are really a big amount of women that sometimes believe that a certain person will change in their ordeals or in their things, in the things that they're doing. But in some cases, they don't change, or they don't want to change, or they don't feel as though they should. They don't want to change because they think that they'll never find someone in the same sense, or in the same way, I guess, or even in the same sense of being able to realize who she wants, or whether she's comfortable with being able to tell somebody her secrets or not, or comfortable being able to tell somebody her everyday life. Because I mean, women are in the same sense trying to find out that men are, I guess, not creepers, just as much as they're trying to find out whether or not men are right for them, because they're trying to find out that first part first. So realizing that I guess what people's worldview can be is what it can make them believe is as they become more mature, they realize that they shouldn't have put those kinds of pressures on another person to be able to complete them in a certain way. But whenever I think what you would be trying to do is God dang it. Whatever you would be trying to do in your own emotional world, would you still be able to yeah, that's a different number, I'm not gonna answer that. Would you still be able to pull off your own, or make sure that your own emotions don't pull you off in a direction where you're not doing the same things that you need to be doing in life? Like hold on, I think that was maybe my doctor, but also too, it might have been somebody else. I'll call him back. Being true to yourself is the biggest thing that you can possibly see, and in some cases, women don't believe they can be true to themselves sometimes because they think that they can't emotionally, I'd say emotionally relate to some people the way that they can relate to people that they've seen for long periods of time. Like, they believe that only sometimes Alright. So, experiencing what your emotions have for you, or what your emotions want you to be, or what you really want to be inside yourself. Whether you're letting yourself know those things, whether you're letting yourself know anything about yourself or not. Whether you're acknowledging things about yourself emotionally, or whether you just think that it's a day-to-day grind and that's all you'll ever be. Realize that eventually you'll still be able to feel the same emotions the same way as someone else, but be able to experience them as if they were new. Once you have a basis of being able to see what your emotions could be, or what your emotions could make for you, or what literally just your thought patterns could be motivating you to do without you even knowing. Because if you don't acknowledge your own emotions, and sometimes you don't realize this, but your emotions can push you in certain directions that you don't feel as though you have or know or anything like that. So be true to yourself, and if you are, then you'll be able to experience your emotions as the thoughts that are underneath, and your maturity level will make something that you don't realize at the time, but it will it'll ground you, and it'll make you more able to be controlled. And that's literally the only reason that I quit smoking. I mean, other people have been able to push me in a positive direction, but in order for me to see that, in order for me to be able to experience that in a better light, or to be able to see that it was completely ruining my life, the more I was able to see that that I wasn't giving myself the credit for the amount of will that I have, and I wasn't giving myself the credit for the amount of importance I put on things back in the day to the amount of importance I put on things now. And granted, I still owe my friends plenty of money for buying me drink after drink after drink, or buying me cigarettes, or buying me anything. But understandably so, I'm on the right path to be able to realize that that I'm not. It's like I'm still indebted to the people that I once like almost mooched off, or not close to mooched off of, for cigarettes and alcohol and things like that. But also too, in the same sense, I'm not as indebted as I would be, as if I would still be doing the same things that I was doing. And not to say that it was out of line, or any of it was completely terrible or something like that, or oh my god, I was so addicted. No, it's like I wasn't giving myself enough credit to say that I wasn't addicted, and I was just lying to myself. I wasn't giving myself enough emotional credit to say that you can get rid of this stuff, and you don't have to deal with people's emotions in a haze. And that's what I was dealing with. That's the way that I was dealing with things, and the way that I was understanding that I wasn't giving myself enough credit. And I think that in some ways, I don't know why I went over to the bike that had someone on it, but I'm gonna go and I'm gonna say that the more mature that I became, and the more I literally became mature, I tried to emotionally stabilize myself, and I realized that what I wanted to do for myself was not be addicted to the same thing over and over again. And I realized the only thing that I was doing over and over again that was completely just the same was smoking. And smoking cigarettes and drinking alcohol, like sociably, but in the same sense, I don't drink as much because I don't smoke. And I don't smoke at all, and I don't drink as much. It's like I didn't, not one hand washes the other, but I just said that in a different way. But in the same sense, it's like I'm not trying harder emotionally, but I just gave myself enough credit. I just gave myself enough credit to be able to change my life for a little bit of the better. And it's not like I changed my life drastically or anything like that, but I think that that's where that drastic change comes from, whenever people are trying to be able to change themselves for good, or be able to not be an addict anymore, or to not feel as though that their addiction is completely tearing apart their life, or completely tearing apart themselves, or even their emotional constructs. And I don't know what that is, but I gotta turn it off because of copyright law. Hey. So realizing that that the real victim was my morals, or my emotional, like it's like I had not like that. I'm thinking in my head. it's like I had this objective to hold out to. This objective that I was putting off constantly. That thing that I really wanted to do. It's like I was giving myself a Christmas present every single time I wake up sometimes now. And it feels so good. It really does. It feels amazing. I can breathe. I don't constantly taste iron or blood, and I don't have nearly as many things wrong with me. I don't feel as though that I have things that are wrong with me at all anymore, actually, because of the simple fact of me quitting smoking. And I can run faster, I can jump higher, I can do things better, I can pick up heavy objects without being winded afterwards. And it's like I feel as though that I think I shouldn't have been a deckhand, because that's what started all this. I would sit for hours and hours on end, and I wanted to draw, or I wanted to do something else. I didn't want that job at all, and but also too, in the same sense, I didn't want to let someone down that I didn't want to let someone down that I got the job from, and that was more important to me than my own health. And in some cases, I have to be able to make sure that I'm number one. And I wasn't doing that because I wasn't mature enough emotionally to be able to see that I wasn't putting myself first. I was seeing something and I was like, oh, there's a paycheck in this for me. But in the same sense, I wasn't seeing the fact that it was morally wrong for me to be able, or for me to betray myself like that. It wasn't something that I was like, oh my God, it was terrible. But in the same sense, and it was terrible, but in the same sense, I was just doing myself a disservice by not trying to change. And awesome. By not trying to change internally, so I could make the change externally. But I changed for someone else who I thought was teaching me something, and I thought that would teach me something if I did the things that they wanted me to do. But I realized that smoking itself was just something that, and a part of me, you know, a part of me thought it was there for me to take, or a part of me thought that, oh my God, I might as well, because I don't have anything else to do, because I'm sitting on a freaking in a freaking chair for 2.5 hours waiting for something to tighten, or something to push or pull or anything like that, or to wrench. I mean, and that's literally what I was doing. I was just basically waiting on something to do, and I was getting paid a lot of money, but I wasn't getting paid enough money to be able to say that it started to ruin my life. And I was getting paid a pretty good amount of money, and I would have got a raise had any of it started to actually go well for me. But I was on the wrong ship, I was with the wrong crew, and I was with the wrong people. And those people aren't around me anymore. And I can say truly that I got a job immediately when I left it, and like literally 2 days after I got off the ship, and realized that the job wasn't for me, and that I had to tell the person that it was over and done with. But the damage was done, and I kept smoking and kept doing stuff, and kept thinking that for some reason I was gonna push over like a whole bunch of different stuff, or that, I don't know. It sounded like a movie a little bit in my own eyes. It sounded like emotional victory for me, but in the same sense, it wasn't a victory. It was like I was slowly and surely trying to set myself on fire, even though I wasn't made of gasoline. And in the same sense, I realized that sometimes that me emotionally would have been like, what the fuck are you doing? but I subsided that. I made that emotion go away for a while, and that's what I was lying to myself about. And that's sometimes the reasons why I get angry, or why I got angry in the first place. And I realized that the more happy thoughts that I was able to have, the more I was able to realize that I was giving myself no credit, and I was giving myself no emotional credit, or no emotional things to be able to fall back on, or no amazing positive thoughts that I was actually making or doing, because and in that sense I wanted to create, and the more I create, the more I realize that I'm able to create. And it's like the first drawing of a horse or a flower isn't the best, but the second or third one is like fucking insanely awesome. And it's like I practice like 1 or 2 times, or sketch something out in my head, and I'm able to make something better just by having those positive thoughts around me. And the more I push to be able to see something, the more I push to be able to see something a little bit better every single day, the more I'm able to look at myself every single day and say that I'm doing a good job with myself. And the more I'm able to even brush off any negative comments as well, or not really brush off, but even go with, or say that it's funny, or jump into a certain thing. It's going to be a slow uphill battle, and that's the reason why I'm still having cravings. But that's the reason why I'm saying all this stuff, and that's the reason why I'm trying to reinforce this stuff mentally. I'm on 2 months, no smoking, and it feels absolutely amazing. I can swallow without choking or coughing. I can run without dying. I can walk without thinking that the sun's breathing down my neck because my skin's dried out. I can feel like I'm a better person, and I feel like I'm a better person because I gave myself that credit. And the reason why I gave myself that credit is because I am a better person, and not because I quit smoking, but because I allowed myself the ability to be able to quit smoking cold turkey. And I've been smoking for 10 years. So I mean, it's not like I'm a little pissant or something like that. And I've been smoking for like a month and a half or something. but it's not in the same sense that I've been smoking for at least 40. And I'm not saying that if they quit smoking then they're better than me. But we're pretty much on the same level as far as being able to have that emotional courage. And that emotional courage is the same no matter how long you've started smoking. But in the same sense, I didn't just quit smoking. I quit denying myself the credit emotionally to be able to stop something abruptly without relying on something else to be able to push me through the door. And granted, I drink energy drinks, but I did that before, and I actually relied on them a lot more than I do now. So, this is my tank, I gotta run, I gotta run. Shit. Alright, caffeine is fun, but I don't do it a lot, and I don't do anything a lot. And I'm happy, or except food. Food is awesome. Food is always good. And food is good all the time. All the time food is good. So my own pagan prayer. Realizing that I give myself credit now, and that I should be a little bit more positive about my life and about the people around me. But at the same sense, I remind them all the time that they need to quit smoking and quit doing the things they're doing, because eventually they're gonna realize that the shorter lifespan is not the best one. But also too, in the same sense, I'm not gonna like push them to be able to do things that they don't want to do, and I think I allow myself the emotional courage and the emotional maturity to be able to say that I can do it, and I don't have to have everyone else doing it around me to be able to keep it that way. But in the same sense too, I have to find friends that don't, because I need to like breathe well. And I love my landlord, but she's a big smoker, and but yeah, that's what I'm doing now, and that's the biggest thing I think that I'm doing now, right now, for me, and not for like other things. Like I'm not like also like I am also trying to create a brand or create something, and the more that I try to create it, the more that I'm expressing myself, and that's good, and that's the thing that I actually want. Moreover, I'm gonna chase this dude down. And there we go. Well, the way that I understand things, and the way that I try to understand things, is it's a little bit better and a little bit less hazy, because, and it's not a metaphor. It really is a little bit less hazy, a lot of it less hazy, because I quit smoking, and I quit doing things like trying to trying to do tricks or something on the cigarette or something like that. It's like, oh, look what I can do, it's awesome. It's like, no, it doesn't make smoking that much more enjoyable. It makes it that much more terrible, because in some cases you realize that you don't like you're not giving yourself a pat on the back, or you're not giving yourself a vitamin. It's not something positive, and it gives yourself like an empty victory. It's like the battle of what's the word? What's that empty victory that happened in the whatever about war? It's fine. All right. But in the same sense, you're not. It's an empty victory, and there are plenty of empty victories that I can probably name besides wars, and but yeah, that's the reason why I feel better, and it has more to do with me accepting myself for who I am, and shut up, what's his name, Franklin, because I feel better about myself, and I'm not going to allow anybody to bring me down, or anything to bring me down, especially people smoking. And yeah, that's what I believe now, and that's what I am. That's what I'm doing. I've been trying so hard to be able to make myself into something that I really want to make myself into. To do something that's positive, and not smoking is a huge start. And I realized that the more that I give myself credit, the more that I'm going to the more that I give myself credit, the more that I'll be able to be going into a situation where the more that I give myself credit, the more that I'll be going into a situation where I'm not destroying my life. I wouldn't have made it this far had it not been for myself, giving myself the credit to be able to make it in life. And I think that's a big accomplishment, no matter what anyone else thinks. And, higher, higher. Set yourself on fire. And there we go. Wait, 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 you son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. There we go. Yeah! Woo. So if ever you feel oh you're immature or you feel as though you're not giving yourself enough credit, be more like something you would imagine would be mature. No matter what that thing is, no matter how that thing really is in reality. I'm not saying make lies or something like that, but realize that positive thoughts and positive truths can come from terrible and weird places. And if you don't give yourself enough credit in a certain area, then you'll never be able to, Alright. And
units reporting at 245.
There we go. You'll never be able to make yourself into something that you really, really want to make yourself into. No matter what you're doing, no matter how you're doing it, no matter the way you're doing it, realize that you should give yourself credit in everything you do. And I'm gonna take this cop car and we're gonna run and see if we can turn this 3 into a 4.
Dispatch to Eagle 7, closing on the location, over.
There we go. Understand that there are so many different ways to be able to make yourself into something that you really want to be. And the more you push to be able to make yourself a little bit more emotionally mature and a little bit more positive thinking, the more you'll be able to make yourself into something that you never thought you'd be, but you always wanted to. And make sure that every single day you try to make yourself into something you see fit, that's positive, that's something that you believe in. And if you believe in that, then be it. It's like the more you realize that your heroes never believed in what they call selling out, or being somebody that that they don't want to be. That's the only way that you can sell out in reality, is if you start being something that you don't want to be, and you make a name for that. No matter how much money you make, you'll always want to make the next thing. You'll always want to be the next somebody, because that's what's making you feel better instead of the thing that you're actually doing. No matter if you're a success in life or a failure in life, realize that you're always a success in your own eyes if you made it the way that you want to make it. And but also realize that if you do anything negative, and if you say anything negative, and I've said stuff that's negative, it always comes back to haunt you. But the more mature you are whenever you see it, or whenever things that are negative come through, the better you'll live your life for the rest of it. I don't say that I've been to hell or anywhere or anything like that, because in my personal beliefs, I don't even believe there is one. So there is only what we make for ourselves, and I need to start making a little bit more every single day if I want to be able to say that I'm a success in life, because up till now I've been a failure because I haven't given myself enough credit. So thank you for listening if you ever do. And this has been Game Therapy with Joe Bomb Squad. And I've actually changed my name to Joe Bomb Squad on YouTube. It's awesome. But it's connected to different pages that aren't that. So you are your own one-man bomb squad. And I will copyright that sentence. Or not copyright it, but I will trademark it. And I know it's open, what's the word, it's open media, but I'm gonna be the only one putting it on stuff. So thank you so much for listening, if you ever do. And this has been Game Therapy with Joe Bomb Squad, and I did two outros. But I don't give a shit. We're going to the military base, and we're gonna steal the plane. Hopefully I don't explode, and I do go to the building so I can do night flights, and I can probably fly out the plane.
That's dumb luck right here.
Alright, I need to go. Yay. There, the green one. My favorite color. And yes, why did I say that Oregon State has a thing? It's just because I saw one Oregon State dancer. And
You are in the Fort Zancudo no-fly zone. Divert or you will be shot down.
Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. I saw one Oregon State dancer one time, and I just made it up as I went along. The whole rhyme scheme of everything. Obviously, I mean, that's probably what everyone does when they're doing stuff on YouTube. But or probably, but I'm not sure. So I realized that the only illusion that people try to persist with is that there is illusion in choice, and realized the only reason that there would be illusion in choice is if somebody was rigging it. So the only reason society is alive is because we make it that way. Yay! All right, we're going out with a bang, and I'm gonna make some sticky bombs to do something stupid. Do. Okay, stand back, enjoy the fireworks. I mean, I have to probably stand on the median for this one. I'm gonna turn around, and as you know, I don't love a big explosion, but I'm gonna there we go. There we go. That was beautiful. That was amazing. And,
Citizens report a car on fire on
it's all we could have hoped for.
4th Street Drive.
All right. Thank you for listening, and if you ever do. All right. This has been Joe Bomb Squad. I said it for a third time, but I ran out of water, and I'm just running on caffeine. So, woo!